Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're doing having a good day. It's a new day, which means new character reveal. So Dabura is today's character, and I'm excited for that. Not a lot of games really use Dabura. I have seen him a lot, and as you can probably tell by the title, he has some gimmicks to him that make him very unique and possibly very annoying.
Witness the power of the Demon King. You're mine. Be gone! Don't think you can escape from me! I'll send you all to hell! Now you realize the difference in our power.
So Dabura is, as we know from the dev video, he is a attacker or a damage dealer. And his whole gimmick, as it says here, is you're supposed to stay real close to enemies, and applying petrification, which lets you then deal additional damage. So we'll go ahead and go over his passives and such here. So his passive skill, Demon's Domain, uh, fills the petrification gauge of enemy heroes within a certain proximity, and as you can see, you'll always be able to see that pretty easily. Um, when their petrification gauge is full, you can use a rush attack to then petrify them, stopping their movements and increasing your damage against them. So it's, as far as I can tell, it's not a like defense down or whatnot. It's specifically just you do more damage. However, obviously, when the full game comes out, they might, or when the network test comes out, we might be able to see if it's actually a defense down and it's just the wording here. But as you can see right here, the bar is filling up slowly, and the more they get hit, especially by the end of his rush attack, the more it fills up. And then once they get full, they can get petrified. His first skill, Doom's Ray. You blow up the target enemy. If this attack hits an enemy hero, it fills their petrification gauge. And then the lower their petrification gauge is, the more will be applied. And then it also generates an aftershock ahead of you, which activates quicker if used after a vanishing step. So as you can see here, let me go back a second. He had like that much, and it filled it up to a little over half. So that's pretty powerful. And then as shown here, this is the damage increase. It's kind of insane. So he goes from losing this much HP, which is like maybe a fourth of his HP, maybe a little bit less. It's okay, but nothing crazy. But then you get to here after they're petrified, and yeah, it pretty much completely drains their entire health bar, which is kind of nuts, not gonna lie. That's a bit absurd. So that shows you how much more damage they take from Dabura after they get stunned by him. Do note that at the end there, he did become unpetrified after the hit. So more than likely, it only lasts for one like skill. Yeah. And then this skill is also going to be very frustrating to fight against. You throw out 3 spears or more. I imagine it's just 3 though, given I think they have these all at max level when they showcase them. In a fan-like direction, and whenever the enemies get hit by it, they get a debuff on them, which does not let them use the vanishing step. Which, if you don't know what that is, basically, you have your basic movements where you can just hold down the movement button, but then there's also like a dash, basically, that acts like a get out of jail card that goes on cooldown. Yeah, you can't do that when he hits you with this. He just completely blocks that ability out for a time being, making it so that you can't just vanish out of his range. Not only that, even if you're at a distance, he then gains a movement speed buff while you have the debuff. So you can't outrun him. And then finally, we have his first skill, Evil Flame. He spits massive flame pillar at the enemies you'll see here in a second, applies a movement speed down to enemies hit. So again, works in combination with his domain and especially the spears on his skill 2, basically making it so that you are not leaving him. He is always going to be on you, and you are always going to be having your meter filled up. Um, Enemies heroes hit by this will also be afflicted with burning, which I imagine is damage over time, and their petrification gauge will be filled. You can also move and adjust the aim while using this skill. So yeah, this is going to be a key portion. And as you can see, sets them on fire, does damage over time. As for the meter, that's probably only when they're in your circle, but nonetheless still. And then the last way we have is super attack, evil blast. It's just a big blast that also increases their petrification gauge if they're in your area. So yeah, that is pretty much Dabura. So yeah, his whole gimmick is simply just to keep really close to you, not letting you get away while doing damage, and then petrifying you to basically insta-kill you. So I could see a lot of people, probably me included, having a lot of issues with this character. He might end up being like the Zamasu of the test network test because of this, because he's going to be very frustrating to deal with, especially if he has a like good teammate with him that'll be able to join in on the combat. Like for example, Vegeta and his basically locking of movement is going to make Dabura just an absolute menace. So yeah, anyways, that's going to be the end of the video. I'll see you all next time.